Hey everyone, it is Friday, moving towards 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wanted to do this quick video, for once not about procedural or administrative matters, but really about the humanities. I just posted the schedule for upcoming National Theatre Live, Globe Theatre Live, and Royal Shakespeare Theatre live performances. Now, what these are is that the plays themselves are performed usually in London or Stratford. And I better say, they're not just Shakespeare by any means, but I'm focusing on Shakespeare plays because it just so happens that those are coming in the near future. And basically what I'm doing is I want to urge you to see where these are in relationship to where you live, because they're being all over the United States and all over Europe. They don't always get to the smaller cities, but they're in all the larger cities. But because there's no really standard programming, it's a little bit hard to find them. And what you have to do is you have to go to Royal Shakespeare Company website and the Globe Theatre's website and the National Theatre, as in National Theatre in Great Britain website, and they will ask you where you live, and from there you can figure it out. Now, there's a few things that I wanted to say about this. The very first, and sort of the most obvious one, is this is very high quality, high level theater. And the particular reason why it's so good is the British take their theater very seriously. And they do something that doesn't really happen so much in the United States. That is to say, they begin preparing their future actors, first of all, when they're really young, and they kind of specialize in theater and don't have to exactly go through general education stuff. And then the training in basically Shakespeare and in classical drama is really long and really serious, with the best teachers in the world. And they also really teach the young actors about the Shakespearean verse and about the plays and the characterizations in this sort of very intensive program that lasts years and years and years and years. And there's a lot to say about this, but this kind of intense preparation for performing Shakespeare, it doesn't happen in the United States. I mean, it's not to say there's not good training in Shakespeare. There most certainly is, but it's not at this level. And then you have other issues like not the accent. People in the United States tend to get a little bit obsessive about the British accent. But the thing that I think is really important about seeing Shakespeare in the United Kingdom is that the regional accents, which are very important in Shakespeare, that is the actual real Shakespeare, are still alive in Great Britain, whereas in the United States, I mean, they're most certainly not. You're not going to get in any Shakespeare play 10 or 12 different U.S. actors expressing themselves and expressing the roles in regional English or Scottish dialects. And this is from the point of view of the production of the plays is really important. So the result is, between the training and the fact that, it's their playwright, it's not, Shakespeare's not American, didn't speak American English, you get really high quality productions. And you also get a lot of experimentation because the market there is kind of established. You have an international audience that's coming to the United Kingdom to see Shakespeare. So it's not as though, they have to worry about who's going to attend the plays. Unlike in the United States where there's a lot of compromises that have to be made to get the people to come to the plays. Okay, I mean, that's kind of not the topic I want to get into right now, but the thing that I'm saying is you've got the highest quality theater in the world coming to local U.S. theaters, meaning cinemas and theaters all the time. I would say, just off the top of my head, probably, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30 roughly, plays come to the United States every year. And once again, you can find them in many of the cinemas and in the theaters as well. Focusing on DC, but you could look at San Francisco, Chicago, and in smaller places as well. The landmark theaters in Bethesda and East Street and the West End all have a lot of Shakespeare coming into them. The Folger Theater, which is so I don't know why I'm pausing, in part of Washington, D.C., in Capitol Hill South is what I'm trying to remember here. And then at the Shakespeare Theater Company, these are big, very well-known D.C. theaters for Shakespeare. They also do what they call screenings, which are being beamed in from London. Okay, now a little tiny point here, so you're not confused. Some of them are live from London. I mean, they're being performed simultaneous. Some of them are to some extent delayed. Some of them are quite a lot delayed, but that part of it doesn't really make any difference. Okay, digging into this and why I'm basically urging you to look into this is that, I mean, frankly, everyone, it's really odd and really sort of strange because, okay, you walk in to either your cinema or your theater getting ready to see the film of a play. And well, you see people in London or in Stratford-upon-Avon doing the same thing. So you're looking at that audience and, they drink beer and they're in their play. So they're putting down beers and they're getting ready for the play. And then at the interval, the same thing. You get to sort of, they often interview the British people talking about the play and giving their reactions to the play. So it's as though you're right there with them. Okay, a couple of things about this. This format coincides something with something I've been saying the whole semester here. First of all, the humanities today are really a global phenomenon. And because of technology, there's more access than there ever is before. Back in the day, whenever that was, people would wait their whole lives, their whole lives they would pine to be able to go to the London theaters. And when the Globe Theatre, that is the modern Globe Theatre, was just built, I mean, people were just in ecstasy and they saved their whole lives to go, and and on and on and on. You get the idea. But now you don't have to do that anymore. You can just, go to your local cinema and see them often. Okay, so that's one thing. The humanities are changing because of globalism. And that's frankly really, really exciting for reasons we could talk about a lot. Okay, if this were a Shakespeare class, I'd really get into this, but it's not. And, I don't want to take up your time with this. And as always, I'm looking at my little timekeeper there. Okay, the other thing is that the other point that I want to make is the humanities today, the version of the humanities that I'm trying to project to you in this class is the humanities not as dead, not as museum pieces, but as something that is really living. And this is a case in point. First of all, you're seeing the film of something that people are attending, now. Number two, some of these productions are really, really famous and really controversial, and there's dozens, hundreds, who knows, of articles being written about them and how they reflect the state of the times, how they reflect Trump, how they reflect Brexit, and so on and so forth. And this gives sort of, I don't know, a poignancy and a power to the humanities that in a way has always been there, but has not been so obvious and broad. And it also here, maybe there's a third thing here, is, once upon a time, really, not so many people were going to see Shakespeare plays, and they were sort of, I don't know, a certain class and all that stuff. But, that doesn't have to be the case anymore. Anyone can buy a $15 ticket to go to the Landmark Theater in Bethesda or on East Street or the West End and go see these plays. And they also have these theaters in kind of small places. You can find that out on the various websites. And you can also look at the trailers, and there's video clips and on and on. There's interviews with the actors. There's, more material than you could hope to use or to view. So, concluding really quickly, I really urge you to look into this, not necessarily for our class, but in general, and think about what it means and how interesting it is and how fascinating it is. And for those of you who are humanities majors, English majors, who want to be teachers or have a passion for this stuff, you can really probe what's happening and stay abreast of what's happening really, really, really easily, have a lot of fun, and it's really not very expensive. As I say, it's just, basically the same price as a normal cinema ticket, or maybe a tiny little bit more. And you can turn it into an evening for you and your family. Let me sort of say something from my dad's point of view. Listen, growing up, my kids hated the theater. I couldn't drag them into a theater. They really hated it, but they liked these films. I don't quite know why, but they really liked the films. And this is the way, when they were little, they were like 12, 13, 14, I would bring them, and at the very first, they would only watch a little bit, but they were sort of fascinated by, they saw that the accents were different, the experimentation about the films was different, and they thought it was really cool. Once what I did is, we saw a National Theatre live in that place, and then the following summer, I took them to the Old Vic in London, and even before they really understood the plays, they still thought that was very interesting. And we took them to London and Buckingham Palace, and we saw the Parliament and everything, and that was very, very educational for them. Okay, thanks everyone. Sorry, I dragged this out more than I wanted to. This was supposed to be 5 minutes or less. And I also wanted to conclude by saying I'm home basically between now and the end of the semester. If you need me, just contact me. I'm easy to reach, and the fastest way is 301-728-5175. Have a great weekend, everyone.